Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, hello everyone. Today I'm going to teach you how to configure a EIGRP or IGRP in Cisco Packet Tracer. So, the first step is to the turn on the engine and then set up three routers connected together. I think probably you are who watching this know how to use Cisco, right? This is the only tutorial how to configure an EIGRP, not not how to set up. Okay, so first one, you will set up this guy, and then after that you turn on it one by one. After that you configure it like this. Okay, the first thing you need to do is to determine all the IPs. You have to decide which IP is this, which IP is for this way as well, and then you have to remember all the interface that has in this topology. So the first thing is you for me I usually start from the first one, for the first and then to the end. So the first thing you need to do is add an IP. So for me this is 11 and this is 10 and this is 11. 10 11 10 11. So the first thing to do is go into the interface and wait, how do I do this? Okay, I'm gonna put it here. So you need to add an IP. Okay, adding IP. You know how to add an IP, right? This is probably the basic thing that every network engineer can do. So if you don't know how to do it, just learn again about Cisco how to do it. Right. Okay. So I'm going to add IP first, and then you can pause the video, and then I will tell you if I'm done. Okay. Oh yeah, I also forgot to give you information that uh, every router have a loopback IP. Basically, loopback IP is for a backup IP. So if you add it, maybe if the thing didn't work, maybe that IP will active and they will start working. Okay. So this IP for router one, yeah, according to its number, this is gonna be 1 1 1 1. This is gonna be 2 2 2 2. Gonna be 3 3 3. Get it? It's really obvious actually. You don't need to really understand it. Okay, I'm gonna continue my continue my typing, and I hope you're done. On my way to the next router. my way to the last router. Okay, all IP are added. Now, now you just need to add the routing. Easy, right? Okay, start from router 1. So how EIGRP works is you add the network that that its router have. So if router 1 have 10.10.10.10, so you have to add the network 10.10.10.0, because network is like the family. So if the network is different, so it's not its family. So 10.10.10.10 is it's include 10.10.10.1 point 0. But if 10.10.9.0, it's different. So they have to be their three octets have to be the same. So here's how you do an EIGRP in Cisco. Okay. First, you gotta write router, and then you write the routing GRP, and then you determine the number. So easy as that. Make sure the number between all the routers are the same. If router 1 use EIGRP10, so router 2 and router 3 have to be EIGRP10 also. I mean as well. So just add the network of the IP that you add. So last time I add this and this, so I have to add 10 10 10 0, and then I have to add the wildcard. How to determine the wildcard is their subnets, I mean this their subnet mask, subtract by subtract by 255.255.255.255. So it's like that. Then you do this, and then you add the loopback point 1.1.1, and then you add the network. Then after you add the network, you add the no auto summary to avoid looping, basically. Then done. Do this to router 2 and router 3. If you're done, if you're done adding the routing, just try to how to check it. Just try to ping from that are not connected by the cable. Like if we ping here to here, basically we don't need a uh, we don't need a routers to connect this bound. But we have to use routing if we want to connect here to here because it wasn't connected together. So uh, how do you do it? Is you ping from router 1 to router 3. Well, that's how we do it. Okay, moving on to the next lab. So that's how you do a EIGRP in Cisco. It's really easy and really simple. You just need to add the IP and then you need to add the routing. In the routing you need to add network and you need to add their will cards and you need to add no auto summary as well. So after I'm gonna give you two more tips how to do a IGRP. So in IGRP we can make a safety authentication. So what this authentication does? So authentication is a method to avoid phishing. So some of you don't know what's phishing. Phishing is someone want to break in to our server, our topology, and they take our data basically. So they just plug in your router and then they just hack it. So how to avoid that? Well, I have the solution. IGRP authentication. So how do you do a IGRP authentication? IGRP authentication use MD5 and keychain to protect us from the unknown source. So the first thing you do uh, is set up it's like just now when you set up the IP and you set up the routing. After that you set up the keychain. So the keychain is like it's like a safe thing. You know, keychain usage for using keys for doors, right? You lock your doors so it's safe. I think it's same function as that. So the first thing you do is type key and then type chain, and then after this you can name it whatever you want. You can name it sausage or you can name it your name, up to you. But now I'm going to use name. Enter that, and then we are into the keychain configuration. We can add more keys, like key 1, and then in key 1 you will from keychain you go into the key, and then in the key we can add key string. So what this key string means? Key string is for connecting all the routers in one place. So key string. And in the key string you can also add whatever you want. You can add like chicken, you can add like sausages, but now I'm going to add it because it's easy to say. So after that, after you go to the key, after you make the keychain, now we go to the you go to an interface that leads to the other router. So yeah. So you go into the interface that leads to other router, like so, and then in the interface we can add authentication rule in there. Authentication, authentication, and then mode EIGRP MD, the number of your EIGRP, and then MD5. Okay. After that, we can also we can insert the keychain as well by doing IP authentication. Wait, authentication keychain GRP, and then you add your number and you add your keychain name. Yep, that's perfect. So now what you need to do is set up the same thing that I do in router 1, in router 2 and router 3. So I'm going to do it fast as possible because time is gold. Oh yeah, especially for router 2, you have to add both interfaces. You have to add both interfaces. Making videos. Both interfaces. Now the last router. Okay, after add all the routers into the configuration, now how to check it is how to check the thing is you type do show IP route. Yep. to ping. Oh yeah, if you only set up one MD5, one authentication rule in one router and the others not, then their IP will not be read. The the one who have authentication will not accept the ones who not. So if other one has, but the other three don't, so they will not connect to each other. So that's how you do a authentication EIGRP. On to the last one. So have you ever had experience that you're very lazy, you can't control your IP, you have to make it minimize? I have the solution. Summarization. So you basically summarize the IP that you had in your IP routing table. So I'm going to do a summarization default, and and it's not that hard. It's only like mashing IP together. It's not that hard, right? So all you need to do is you go to one of these. I'm gonna do like router 1. Okay, you go to the interface that connected to router 2, and then you go there, and then you add IP summary address. You add the summary address EIGRP, and then the number, and then 0000, the numbers that you want to summarize, 000000, then you enter it, and then if you do show, well, as you can see here, this thing is summarized. So all the routings and others, they will get summarized. So is it clear? I think it's not clear. Maybe you'll confuse. Well, that's my best effort to teach you guys how to do EIGRP. Don't forget to share this video to the other players, the other network engineer players, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I'm sorry if my explanation is not clear enough, because this is only a task and I have to do it. It's my obligation. I hope you enjoyed this video, and that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope you can do all the configuration.